Good day, friends. What a pleasure and a privilege it is to be able to communicate with you. Um, this whole Facebook thing is kind of new for me, but let's see how this goes. I want to talk to you a little bit about something we're going to be talking about in church on Sunday. We've been teaching a series of lessons called Pillars for a Blessed Life. And there's a fact, a truth that I think we have to come to an understanding of and agree upon if our lives truly will be blessed. And it's the way that God sees us. He uses words like we are his priests, his kings. He says that we are his bride, that we are his sons and his daughters. Throughout the Bible, from beginning to end, you will see God describing his relationship with man in a way that says to man, I care about you and I want your life to be better. For example, Jeremiah 29:11, I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to bless you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. And there's so much in there, but what I really want you to focus on is that God says specifically that he wants you to have a hope and a future. That God wants your life to be in ascendancy, and God is focused on what is in front of you, not tying you to what's behind you. But in order for us to have this blessed life that God promises us, there are certain pillars that we must have in our lives. In architecture, we call them load-bearing walls. In biology, we would call it the skeleton. That structure, that frame, that foundation that gives our lives balance and allows us to prosper, to thrive, to progress, to achieve. And one of the pillars that I think is really, really essential is the pillar of a God-given dream. Let's take a look at Joseph. And all of us know the story of Joseph, but think about all that he was able to go through and still maintained a positive mental attitude. And why was he able to maintain this positive mental attitude? Because God had given him a dream, a hope, an expectation, something that he was able to look forward to. So when his father could not accept it, certainly it was hard, but he knew it was from God. When his brothers were jealous of it, hated him for it, sold him into slavery because of it, he still kept his head up because he knew that God had given him something to do, something that would make a difference, something that would be a blessing. For Joseph, it wasn't just about getting things, because that's not what a blessed life is. A blessed life isn't about collecting things. A blessed life is about being purposeful, being useful, being productive. And so even when Joseph had some success, and he was attacked because of that success and went from that perch of success into the jail, into a hole, into a pit. Even there, he continued to rise. Why? Because inside of him, there was a knowledge that God had given him a dream. And one of the other things that this dream does for us is it helps us to avoid bitterness. The most beautiful thing for me about the story of Joseph's life is at the end of his life, when his father had died and his brothers had lived much of their adult life in fear that Joseph would abuse them, damage them. And they came to Joseph filled with that fear. And Joseph continued to embrace them and said, no, you didn't do this thing to me. But God had a plan for your deliverance and to save himself a people, and that's why he sent me to Egypt. See, Joseph knew that his God-given dream was more powerful than any circumstance, any situation, any persecution, anything anyone could do to him. His dream was bigger than that, stronger than that, and could overcome it. My friends, if we really want that blessed life that God promises us, we need to know and understand what his dream is for us. So this is just a little bit of a taste. If you want to hear more on this particular subject matter, please join us in service this Sunday at 2 p.m. at 920 Deaver Street in West Sacramento. And you will get an email with this information. Check me out on Facebook. Lady Tia Elliott is hooking us up, so I'm sure it's going to be wonderful. I thank you and God bless you.